Welcome to my channel. In today's video, we're going to dive right in, so make sure to watch until the end. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and share this video with your friends. Thanks for watching, and let's get started. The 1993 D United States of America Roosevelt dime, carrying the inscriptions United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, One Dime, Liberty, In God We Trust, and the D Mint mark for the Denver Mint is part of a long-running Roosevelt dime series that began in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his death. The 1993 D dime represents a typical example of modern clad coinage, yet it embodies decades of American monetary history, technological evolution in minting, and a continuing legacy of Roosevelt's leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. Struck from copper-nickel clad composition, with outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, the coin carries a total weight of 2.27 grams, a diameter of 17.9 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.35 millimeters, making it one of the smallest yet most widely circulated U.S. coins. The obverse of the 1993 D dime features a left-facing portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, engraved by Chief Engraver John R. Sinek, who aimed to capture Roosevelt's calm, intelligent, and confident character. Surrounding his portrait are the inscriptions Liberty on the left edge, In God We Trust below the chin, the date 1993 toward the right, and the D mint mark placed near the lower part of the portrait. A subtle design feature is the engraved initials JS for John Sinek, located at the truncation of Roosevelt's neck. Though small, these initials have a long history of being mistaken for political symbols during the coin's early years of release, revealing the curious cultural intersections embedded in U.S. coin design. On the reverse of the 1993 D dime is the classic torch-olive oak motif that has symbolized the series since its beginning in 1946. At the center stands a torch of liberty, representing enlightenment and freedom. On its left is an olive branch, a symbol of peace, while an oak branch on the right stands for strength, victory, and endurance, together forming a trio that communicates the American ideal of achieving peace through strength guided by the light of liberty. Encircling this powerful symbolic imagery are the inscriptions United States of America at the top, E Pluribus Unum, out of many, one, across the central field, and one dime at the bottom indicating the denomination. The reverse design is simple yet profound, a masterpiece of symbolic balance that continues unchanged for over 7 decades. The edge of the 1993 D dime is reeded, a feature originally intended as a 19th century anti-counterfeiting measure to prevent dishonest individuals from shaving precious metal off silver and gold coins. Although the modern dime contains no silver, the reeded edge remains a traditional and visually appealing part of the design. The Denver Mint produced a massive number of 1993 D dimes, over 1 billion pieces, ensuring their broad circulation throughout the United States. Because of this high mintage, most 1993 D dimes hold face value in use condition, yet collector interest still exists in finding well-preserved examples, particularly those grading MS66 to MS68, which display bright luster, sharp strikes, and minimal contact marks. Modern high-grade business strike dimes are surprisingly challenging to find because coins in large quantities tend to experience bag marks, abrasions, and mechanical scrapes during mass transportation and storage in mint facilities. This makes top-grade examples significantly more desirable to collectors of modern coinage. Brilliant, well-struck Denver Mint examples are especially prized because the Denver Mint's high-speed presses sometimes produce coins with weaker detail compared to Philadelphia counterparts, making sharp strikes an exception rather than a rule. The 1993 D dime also presents fascinating insights into the minting process of the early 1990s, a time when the U.S. Mint was using more automated and rapidly advancing technology than ever before. Planchets, blank metal discs, were punched from clad metal strips, washed, heated, and fed into high-speed striking presses capable of producing hundreds of coins per minute. Dies were created through a multi-stage reduction and hubbing process, gradually transferring the detailed design from a large master hub down to working dies. Despite the precision of modern minting, die wear, misalignments, and machine malfunctions occasionally produced error coins. These errors are highly prized today. Some known and collectible 1993 D dime errors include off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, cuts, missing clad layer errors, and double die obverse DDO varieties. A missing clad layer dime, for example, shows a dramatic copper color on one or both sides, making it visually striking and valuable. Off-center errors with 10% to 40% misalignment and a visible date can also bring strong premiums. These mint anomalies are reminders that even with advanced equipment, imperfections still occur and become rare collectibles. In circulation, the 1993D dime served millions of Americans in daily commerce, from vending machines and parking meters to small retail transactions. Its durable copper-nickel composition ensures it can survive decades of use with minimal corrosion, often remaining in circulation for 30-plus years. Many people overlook such coins, yet each dime carries a story of American history, economy, and culture. Collectors often examine 1990s dimes for full torch lines, foot, a grading designation that indicates exceptionally strong reverse strike quality, showing full horizontal lines on both bands of the torch. These foot specimens are quite rare for the 1993D issue and greatly increase collector value. In general, circulated examples are worth 10 cents. Uncirculated coins are worth $1 to $3. High-grade MS-66 examples can reach $20 to $40. MS-67 coins can reach $100 plus. And rare MS-68 examples, if certified, can reach several $100s, especially those with full torch characteristics. Overall, the 1993D Roosevelt dime is a small but significant piece of American coinage, representing the enduring legacy of Franklin D. Roosevelt, modern minting advancements, and the rich world of numismatics where even common coins may hold rare treasures. Its elegant design, massive mintage, potential for high-grade rarities, and presence of collectible mint errors make it a fascinating subject for collectors, educators, and coin enthusiasts across the world. Though it may seem like an ordinary circulating dime, the 1993D coin carries decades of American heritage, skillful mint artistry, and deep symbolism, proving that every coin, no matter how small, has a story worth telling. The 1986D United States of America Roosevelt I dime, inscribed with United States of America, E pluribus unum, one dime, liberty, in God we trust, and carrying the prominent D mint mark of the Denver Mint, is a small yet historically significant piece of American circulating coinage that represents the modern-clad era while preserving the long-lasting legacy of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. This coin, weighing 2.27 grams, measuring 17.9 millimeters in diameter with a thickness of about 1.35 millimeters, is struck from a copper-nickel-clad composition comprised of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. Although it is an affordable and common coin, the 1986D Roosevelt dime carries decades of American cultural, political, and economic significance, as well as the symbolic power of Roosevelt's portrait and the classical imagery on the reverse. The obverse features a profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, masterfully engraved by Chief Engraver John Arsenic, whose initials JS appear at the truncation of the bust. Roosevelt's left-facing portrait is meant to capture the strength, dignity, and determination that the president exhibited during key moments of American history, specifically the Great Depression and World War II, during which he introduced the New Deal programs, led the nation through economic reform, and strongly supported public health initiatives like the March of Dimes, the very campaign that inspired the adoption of his image on the dime after his death in 1945. Surrounding his portrait is the word liberty, positioned prominently to the left as a reminder of America's founding principles, while I in God we trust sits elegantly below his chin, representing the nation's long-standing motto that has appeared on U.S. coins since the 19th century. To the right appears the date 1986, marking not only the year of minting but also placing this dime firmly in the period when America was experiencing economic changes, technological shifts, and rapid modernization. The D mint mark, located just above the date, signifies production at the Denver Mint, one of the largest and most technologically advanced minting facilities in the world. The Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of 1986 D dimes, ensuring their widespread circulation across the United States for decades. Despite the high mintage, truly pristine uncirculated examples are sought by collectors because large production volumes increase the likelihood of contact marks, scrapes, abrasions, and minor imperfections acquired during transport and storage. On the reverse of the coin is the iconic design featuring a torch, symbolizing liberty and enlightenment, positioned at the center between an olive branch on the left and an oak branch on the right. These branches represent peace and strength respectively, forming a triad of American ideals that the Roosevelt Dime series has conveyed since its introduction in 1946. Above the imagery is the text United States of America, while E pluribus unum, Latin for out of many, one, appears across the central field beneath the torch, and one dime is displayed along the lower rim. The overall design is simple yet powerful, incorporating classical symbolism that reflects the ideals of the nation. The coin's edge is reeded, continuing a centuries-old tradition originally intended to prevent shaving small amounts of precious metal from early silver coins. Though modern dimes contain no silver, the reeded edge remains an important aesthetic and security feature. The minting process used in producing the 1986 D-dime was already highly advanced by 1986. Coin blanks, known as planches, were punched from large sheets of clad metal. After being cleaned, annealed, and inspected, the planches were fed into high-speed presses capable of striking hundreds of coins per minute. Even with such efficiency, variations in die pressure, die wear, and mechanical vibrations sometimes created error coins, many of which are now highly desirable. Error varieties associated with the 1986 D-dime include off-center strikes, broad strikes, clip planches, die cracks, die breaks, cuds, misaligned dies, missing clad layer errors, and double die obverse or reverse varieties. Missing clad layer dimes are particularly striking, often displaying a dramatic copper tone if one side lacks its nickel-clad layer, making them valuable to collectors. Off-center examples with 10% to 50% displacement, especially those showing the full date and mint mark, can also attract strong interest. Die cracks and cuds, raised lines or blobs caused by breaks in the die, are common in high mintage years like 1986, offering collectors unique variations to discover. In circulation, the 1986 D-dime served the American public extensively, appearing in everyday transactions, grocery store purchases, parking meters, vending machines, and savings jars across the country. Its robust copper-nickel composition allows the coin to remain in circulation for decades with minimal corrosion, making it common to still find 1986 D-dimes in pocket change today. Despite their availability, collectors place special value on high-grade uncirculated specimens, especially those with full torch foot designations. The foot designation refers to sharply defined horizontal lines on both bands of the torch on the reverse, a sign of a highly precise strike. Full torch examples from the Denver Mint are significantly rarer because the Mint's high-speed production occasionally resulted in weaker strikes. As a result, top-grade foot coins can command substantial premiums. In terms of market value, circulated 1986 D-dimes generally hold face value, while uncirculated examples may be worth $1 to $3 depending on quality. Higher-grade certified pieces graded MS-66 may bring $20 to $40. MS-67 examples can reach $75 to $150, and the rarest MS-68 full-torch specimens can reach several $100s if in exceptional condition. Though the coin is common, superior eye appeal, glowing luster, strong strike, and minimal marks significantly increase desirability among numismatists who specialize in modern Roosevelt dimes. Overall, the 1986 D Roosevelt dime is a remarkable example of modern U.S. coinage, small in size but deeply rooted in American history, political symbolism, minting technology, and national tradition. It carries the legacy of Franklin D. Roosevelt, whose leadership inspired the series, and it reflects a precision of modern minting practices that continue to evolve. From everyday commerce to collector treasure hunts, from error varieties to high-grade specimens, the 1986 D-dime stands as an enduring piece of American heritage. Although it is a common coin, its story is vast, rich, and meaningful, proving that even the smallest coin can hold a world of history, symbolism, craftsmanship, and numismatic value. The 1983 United States of America Roosevelt 1 dime, carrying the inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus unum, 1 dime, Liberty, In God We Trust, and the P mint mark of the historic Philadelphia Mint, is a small yet deeply meaningful piece of American numismatic history that represents the technological, political, and cultural landscape of the early 1980s. The coin is struck from the long-standing modern-clad composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, giving it a total weight of 2.27 grams, a diameter of 17.9 millimeters, and a thickness of approximately 1.35 millimeters. Despite its modest size and minimal monetary value, the 1983p dime reflects decades of U.S. minting evolution and continues a legacy of the Roosevelt dime series, which began in 1946 after the death of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. As president during the Great Depression and World War II, Roosevelt led the nation through economic reforms, social recovery, and public health initiatives such as the March of Dime campaign to fight polio. This campaign inspired a decision to place his portrait on the dime, making the coin not only a circulating piece of currency but a memorial to leadership, resilience, and humanitarian impact. On the obverse of a 1983p dime is a left-facing portrait of Roosevelt, designed by John R. Sinek, the 8th chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. The finely sculpted image captures Roosevelt's calm expression and determined character. Above and to the left appears the bold word liberty, symbolizing the nation's founding ideals. To the lower left, just beneath the chin, appears the motto "In God We Trust," which became an essential part of U.S. coinage in the mid-19th century and continues to reflect the national identity of the United States. At the lower right of the portrait is the date 1983, marking the year the coin was minted, a year shaped by economic recovery, advancing technology, and a strengthening minting infrastructure. Just beside the date is a P mint mark, representing the Philadelphia Mint, which had begun routinely placing mint marks on dimes only a few years earlier. Though historically the Philadelphia Mint produced coins without mint marks for decades, from the 1980s onward the inclusion of a P became standard. At the neck truncation, the initials JS appear, honoring designer John Sinek, whose initials sparked decades of rumor and misinterpretation among the uninformed, but which remain a critical design detail. The reverse of the coin continues the classic Roosevelt dime design introduced in 1946. Dominating the center is a torch of liberty, a bright symbol of enlightenment, hope, and the guiding principles of American democracy. To the left of the torch is an olive branch, a timeless symbol of peace and diplomacy. To the right is an oak branch, representing strength, endurance, and victory. Together, the three iconic elements illustrate the balance between peace, strength, and liberty, values Roosevelt championed during his presidency. Surrounding this imagery are the inscriptions United States of America across the top and one dime at the bottom, indicating the coin's issuing authority and denomination. Across the central field, directly in line with the torch space, appears E Pluribus Unum, the national motto meaning out of many, one, symbolizing the unity of the states and the strength of diversity. The reeded edge of the 1983p dime continues a centuries-old tradition originally used to prevent fraudulent shaving of precious metal coins, though the modern dime no longer contains silver. Still, the tactile reeded edge remains part of the coin's identity and security. The minting process of the 1983p dime offers a fascinating look into U.S. mint technology of the early 1980s. The Philadelphia Mint, operating at high capacity, produced hundreds of millions of 1983p dimes. Metal strips were fed through industrial punch presses that cut circular blanks, which were then heated, cleaned, and inspected before receiving their raised rims in the upsetting mill. These prepared planchets were fed into high-speed presses that struck the coin with extraordinary force, typically over 20 tons of pressure, to transfer the designs onto both sides. Even with highly automated equipment, variations, imperfections, and rare errors occurred. Some of the most collectible error varieties of the 1983p dime include off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, cuds caused by broken die metal, misaligned dies, double die obverse varieties, and missing clad layer errors, where one side appears copper-colored because a nickel layer failed to bond properly. A missing clad layer example from 1983 can bring strong premiums. Off-center dimes retaining the full date, especially those between 10% and 40% off-center, are also sought after. Die cracks on the 1983p dime sometimes appear along the rim or across Roosevelt's bust. These raised lines are actually small fractures in the die that transferred onto the coin. Due to high output and frequent die wear, the 1983p issue is fertile ground for collectors searching for such variations. In circulation, the 1983p dime was used extensively in everyday American commerce: parking meters, payphones, vending machines, grocery chains, laundromats, and countless daily transactions. Its copper-nickel alloy ensures durability, which is why many 1983p dimes continue to circulate today more than 4 decades later. However, because so many were used in circulation, finding well-preserved uncirculated examples is harder than it may seem. Coins from the early 1980s often appear with bag marks, friction, dull luster, or weak strikes, making high-grade survivors more appealing to modern collectors. A particularly desirable variant is the full torch foot designation given by grading services. This requires the bands on the torch to be fully and sharply defined. Not all 1983p dimes show full torch lines due to strike inconsistencies, so foot coins can command a premium. In terms of market value, circulated 1983p dimes generally hold face value, though nicely preserved AU, almost uncirculated, examples may draw small interest. Uncirculated coins commonly sell for $1 to $3, depending on quality. Higher-grade certified pieces graded MS65 may bring $10 to $20. MS66 examples can rise to $30 to $60, and coins of the MS67 level may reach $100 to $200 due to rarity in that grade. The rarest, high-quality MS68 full-torch specimens can exceed several $100s, as such pristine examples are incredibly scarce from this production period. Error coins, depending on type and severity, can range from $20 to $500 plus, with missing clad layer examples commanding some of the highest prices. Altogether, the 1983p Roosevelt dime represents far more than a simple 10-cent circulating coin. It is a piece of American history that reflects Roosevelt's enduring legacy, the technological evolution of the U.S. Mint, the symbolic depth of its design, and the economic activity of a nation in transition during the early 1980s. Whether found in everyday change or preserved in a collector's album, the 1983p dime stands as a reminder that even the smallest coin can hold immense meaning, symbolically, historically, and numismatically. It is a testament to American artistry and craftsmanship, combining tradition, symbolism, and modern minting innovation into a tiny piece of metal that millions have handled, yet few have truly appreciated. The 1998 United States of America Roosevelt 1 dime, bearing the inscription United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, 1 dime, Liberty, In God We Trust, along with the D Mint mark of the Denver Mint, is a modern copper-nickel-clad circulating coin that continues America's long-standing Roosevelt dime tradition first introduced in 1946. Despite its small size and everyday role in commerce, the 1998 D-dime is a product of decades of minting evolution, symbolic meaning, historical legacy, and modern industrial precision. Struck from a durable composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, the coin weighs 2.27 grams, measures 17.9 millimeters in diameter, and has a thickness of about 1.35 millimeters, making it consistent with all Roosevelt dimes produced after the end of silver coinage in 1964. The obverse features the iconic portrait of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, whose leadership through the Great Depression and World War II forever shaped American society. His portrait, designed by Chief Engraver John R. Sinek, captures his firm yet compassionate character. The portrait faces left, surrounded by symbolic inscriptions, Liberty on the left rim, In God We Trust below the chin, the date 1998 on the lower right, and the D Mint mark just above it, marking the coin's origin at the highly productive Denver Mint. The artist's initials JS, placed at the neck truncation, honor Sinek's work and connect the modern dime to its original 1946 design roots. The reverse design of the 1998 D Roosevelt dime retains a classic symbolism that has defined the series for more than half a century. Dominating the center is a torch, symbolizing liberty and enlightenment, an emblem of progress and the guiding light of American democracy. To the left of the torch stands an olive branch, representing peace, diplomacy, and the hope for unity, while to the right is the oak branch, symbolizing strength, victory, and enduring national resilience. This trio, liberty, peace, strength, is a visual legacy of Roosevelt's global leadership during turbulent times. Encircling this imagery are the inscriptions United States of America at the top and one dime at the bottom, specifying the nation of issue and denomination, while E pluribus unum, out of many, one, appears across the center field, reinforcing the foundational idea of unity among the states. The coin's reeded edge, originally intended as a security feature against shaving precious metal from early silver coins, remains an important aesthetic and tactile characteristic even in modern base metal dimes. The Denver Mint, one of the largest and most advanced coin-producing facilities in the world, struck hundreds of millions of 1998 D-dimes, ensuring their widespread circulation throughout the United States. Despite this extremely high mintage, coins of the 1998 D issue can vary widely in quality because high-speed coin production often results in minor imperfections such as contact marks, weak strikes, and surface abrasions. Denver Mint coins are known for their strong luster, but because they pass rapidly through sorting machines, counting bags, and transport containers, many uncirculated examples still show small marks. As a result, truly high-grade specimens, especially those at the MS-67 or MS-68 level, are considerably scarcer than the huge mintage might suggest. The finest pieces exhibit bright mint luster, strong details on Roosevelt's hair and facial features, and precise line definition on the reverse, especially in the torch's horizontal bands, which are used for the coveted full torch foot designation. Not all 1998 D-dimes show full torch lines due to strike inconsistencies, making FT-graded coins more desirable to modern collectors. The minting process of the 1998 D-dime reveals the advanced industrial capabilities of the U.S. Mint during the late 1990s. Large rolls of clad metal strip were fed into high-precision punching machines to create planchets. These blank discs were tumbled, cleaned, annealed, heat-treated, and run through an upsetting mill to create a raised rim that helped protect the design during striking. Then, state-of-the-art presses, capable of striking hundreds of coins per minute, stamped the design onto each planchette with immense pressure. Even with advanced technology, mint errors still occurred. Some of the most collectible 1998 D-dime errors include off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing due to misalignment of planchette and die, broad strikes, created when a collar fails and the metal expands outward, clipped planchets, where a crescent-shaped portion is missing from a miscut metal strip, die cracks and cuts, caused by fractures or breaks in the die itself, double die obverse or reverse varieties, which show slight doubling on letters or numbers due to die creation, anomalies, and missing clad layer errors, where one side may appear copper-colored because its nickel layer was never bonded to the planchette. These dramatic errors can command significant interest and higher values in the collector market. In circulation, the 1998 D-dime played a major role in everyday commerce across the United States, used in parking meters, vending machines, laundromats, phone booths, and millions of small transactions that define daily economic life. Most circulated examples show typical wear, including loss of luster and smoothing of Roosevelt's hair details and the reverse branches. However, the copper-nickel clad composition ensures long-term durability, allowing many 1998 D-dimes to remain in circulation 25-plus years after minting. While circulated specimens generally retain face value, their significance in numismatists lies in their connection to broader minting trends of the 1990s, a decade of rapid modernization at the U.S. Mint and a continued development in coin technology and era identification. In the collector market, the value of 1998 D Roosevelt dimes varies based on condition, strike quality, and rarity of the specific piece. Circulated examples typically remain worth 10 cents, but uncirculated coins can bring $1 to $3, depending on brightness and lack of marks. Higher-grade pieces at MS-66 may command $15 to $30, while MS-67 examples can reach $75 to $150 due to the difficulty of locating pristine Denver Mint strikes from this year. The rarer certified grades, MS-68 and especially MS-68 foot, can reach several $100s, as these combinations of sharp strike and flawless surfaces are extremely uncommon. Mint errors, depending on type and severity, may range from $20 to several $100s, with missing clad layer errors and dramatic off-centers representing the highest values. Overall, the 1998 D Roosevelt dime is a remarkable example of modern American coinage, tiny yet rich in symbolism, history, craftsmanship, and technological evolution. It stands as a testament to the enduring legacy of Franklin D. Roosevelt, whose leadership inspired the series, to the precision of the Denver Mint's late 20th century production, and to the ongoing fascination collectors hold for even the smallest and most ordinary coins. In its design, metal composition, errors, and collector appeal, the 1998 D-Dime represents how every American coin, no matter how common, carries a story of national heritage, artistic achievement, and the intricate science of minting.